It was part of it. It was we were exposed tonight. I think sometimes that's reflected on the bowling. If you're a little bit two sides of the wicket, then areas where we know we're not strong gets exposed, and I think that's what happened tonight. But certainly we're on the back foot. Some good fielders making mistakes as well. So it's not just the areas we were weak. It was some good fielders making mistakes, and then we just got a little bit on the back foot and heads down a little bit. So. Look, that can happen in a long tournament. It's not a great performance by any means, but we've got hours rather than days to rectify. Look, I think that applies to every team, to be honest. There's a general feeling that the wickets, when they get a little bit of dew on them, get better. And hitting these days, when you're given certainty chasing in an uncertain game, that's an advantage. So there is definitely been a psychological shift from pressure with runs on the board. It's now about controlling risk, and players' ability to clear the fence and stay up with rates of 12, 13 and over is just becoming better and better. So there is definitely a preference with all teams, I think, to bat second this time of year. Afternoon games and very dry wickets would be the only exception. So I think pretty much results are going close to that, but that's the preferred route. We lost a little bit of intensity. We could have had a little bit more in the last 4 to 5 overs. Need a little bit more, obviously, from Jadeja. Run a ball needs to be more than that if he's going to fill that role. And they bowl well. You've got the spinners, which was one of our major concerns. With spinning left, we had to take a bit more of a risk, and they bowl well. Narayan is quality, even start of the innings, end of the innings. So he almost takes a couple of overs out of your innings, the way that he bowls, so he stunted momentum. But look, we weren't that unhappy with 180 or 178. We perhaps did 5 to 10 out there, 190. That's still a pretty competitive score, but we just didn't start well enough. We had opportunities and we just didn't take them. So it's another night where we're just fractionally off, and as a team we can't afford to do that. We're not that good a side where we can have bad days and still get wins. We can compete, but the result is probably appropriate. Yeah, he played well. It was interesting when the two youngsters were at the crease. We looked at it as a time to put pressure on them, but also that fearlessness of youth as well, where the game could go either way. And some of the shot making is maybe a little bit predetermined, certainly impulsive, but it's exciting to watch, isn't it? And I think as Gill's innings got on, he got more composure and played well. It's his first real opportunity, isn't it? He's been batting down the order, so he took that opportunity well today, and a big part for them winning the match. Yeah, it's a good point. We weren't ominous coming into this. We've just played well, and we've just been gutsy and had some good fighting wins. But we've got to be careful that one bad game where the bowling looks a little bit off, you don't get too carried away, and that's always been sort of the philosophy of Chennai and with MS, that we still got to give faith in the guys that did the job the game before. Too easy, you can buy into mistakes in one game and then start chopping and changing. You've got to identify the things that went wrong, and if they can't be rectified, then maybe you make a change. But look, those guys that played the last game but bowled us to a win, so you just got to be careful not to be too knee-jerk, and make sure that you just run the sequence out long enough that you see true form come through.